Well, it only took 45 years, but finally, the long-awaited sequel to Grizzly has been released, and I guarantee it's worse than you think. Hey guys, welcome back to the show, and on this episode, I'm going to be talking about Grizzly 2: Revenge. As I said, it's a sequel that took 45 years to come out, and everything about it is pretty weird. Now, the original Grizzly was a movie that came out in 1976, and it was one of those natural horror movies. You know, a horror movie that features a natural force like an animal. And believe it or not, the movie isn't too bad. It was actually done a lot better than I expected, and it also did pretty well at the box office, which isn't too surprising because after Jaws came out, everyone was trying to make a movie like that. In many ways, it's a ripoff of Jaws with a bear instead of a shark. The ending is even similar with the bear being blown up, but still, it's not that bad. The sequel started filming in 1983, and there's a bunch of articles online talking about the production if you're interested in that. Now, Grizzly 2 is what I would call a Frankenstein movie because someone took a movie that was dead and decided to try and bring it back to life by patching it together with other footage, stock footage, which obviously sticks out like a sore thumb. And in the end, what you get is a total abomination. One of the things you'll notice is apparently this movie stars Charlie Sheen, George Clooney, and Laura Dern. I mean, there they are on the poster, along with their names and only their names, top billing, and when the movie starts, there they are again. In fact, they are the only actors to be billed at the beginning of the film, which is weird because they are in the movie for a total of 4 minutes. And that's being generous. It's almost as if they tried to misrepresent the degree of their involvement to get people interested in the movie. And if that isn't a giant red flag, then I don't know what is. So during this opening credit sequence, we have a lot of footage, which is obviously stock footage, which always makes a movie look super cheap. Hey, look at this guy surfing on top of his motorcycle. I wonder why that's in the movie. Probably because, again, they didn't shoot this. It's stock footage, and I hate it. And now we have a hunter and shots of different animals in clearly different locations. So the hunter shoots the bears, and again, I could go on and on about how this looks like something from a school project, but let's just move on to the stars of the movie, apparently. And it looks like, again, the cinematography doesn't match up at all with the footage we just saw, probably because this was shot on actual film, as well as being shot before I was even born. So George, Charlie, and Laura, I'm not even going to use their character names because what's the point, decide to go camping, but that's cut short when the grizzly kills them. And that's it for them in this movie. Wow, what a contribution to the story. Anyways, there's going to be a huge rock concert in this national park with 100,000 people expected to show up. Because, you know, in all these types of movies, you always need some sort of event with a large gathering all at once to really jack up the danger factor. It's just kind of funny because it's in all of them. You know, if the movie's about a killer shark, then there's going to be some sort of holiday on a weekend where everybody goes to the beach or some kind of festival on the beach. If it's about a killer bear, then, you know, of course, it's about the giant rock concert in the woods.
Anybody have a question?
Why is Dragon allowing a concert at a national park? It's for money, isn't it?
Yes, that's a good question. And the answer is quite simple. You see, the superintendent of this place, Summit National Park, is Eileen Dragon here. And she wants to hold this rock concert in order to give her political career a good shot in the arm. Because nothing goes together better than rock concerts and politicians. See, now that I've explained it, doesn't that just make complete sense? So now we have this guy, Harvey, who's part of a group of poachers, but he's by himself here for some reason, I don't know. Anyways, the grizzly makes short work of him. And then the next day, one of the other poachers, Drew, finds his hat and then sees some stock footage that we've already seen. He's so startled that he takes a shot with one hand, then drops the gun, puts the hat in his mouth, and takes off. Now, some of you are probably thinking, what the hell was that? Well, from what I understand, this is an old poacher's trick. You shoot the gun with as little accuracy as possible, then you drop the weapon and put something in your mouth to just really confuse the animal. You know, it's all part of the psychological game, part of the hunt. Anyways, he gets back to the other poachers, and I'm sorry, there's no ADR in the world that's gonna convince me that he's actually talking here.
Where's Harvey, Drew? Where's my brother?
Your brother's dead, man. No.
And the editing here is not great. I mean, aside from them cutting in this stock footage shot of this tree, which sticks out like a sore thumb, just watch this.
You know, Luke, $25,000 apiece. Let's go get the bear, okay?
So the park rangers find the body and they're like, yep, this is poachers all right. They're out here hunting for bear gallbladders. And Chief Ranger Nick is like, holy crap, Miss Dragon is gonna flip. I better tell her what's going on. But she's like, I don't have time to talk to you about what's going on in my park, Nick. Time magazine is here. And Nick's like, okay, but there's a grizzly bear going around killing people. And she's just like, Nick, do you want me to say it again? Time magazine. Don't have time to be concerned with what's going on in the park that I'm running. Obviously, Time magazine is very interested in talking to me about my concert. This is the most urgent thing right now. Not people dying in my park. Another thing I noticed about this movie is it features a lot of little jump cuts scattered throughout the movie, right in the middle of scenes. It's really annoying. The editing throughout this entire movie has some pretty bad moments, and the thing is, I'm never quick to blame the editor because the editor can only work with what they're given. Now, obviously, I don't know the exact situation of how this production went, but this could have been a situation where they didn't shoot enough B-roll, or they just didn't get enough coverage when they were shooting the scenes, which could explain the jump cuts. But then as an editor, you have to try and find footage from other places to cut in, and it doesn't always work. Just watch these next two scenes. You'll notice it just feels off. Anyways, Sam, the director of bear management, wants to tranquilize and relocate the bear, but Nick thinks it's too dangerous to take that chance. One of the rangers suggests going to talk to Bouchard, this guy who's some kind of master bear tracker. Again, not surprised by this move. We're following the Jaws formula. So then we have another hilarious interaction where Nick is like, hey, Dragon, they found 3 teenagers killed by the bear now too. And she's like, damn it, don't tell anyone else. This concert in the middle of a national park is super important for my political career, and I'm not gonna have some stupid animal ruining that. So find it. So Nick's like, fine, then you need to give me more men to find this thing. And she's like, no, I need them for my concert because things can go bad at concerts. Which is kind of funny because none of this makes any sense to me. So she doesn't want anything to ruin this concert, right? Okay, fine. But she doesn't want to give up any resources to Nick to help find the bear that could ruin the concert, even though Nick says he'll have them back in time to work as security for the concert. And she also doesn't want to call in state troopers because she doesn't want to scare anybody. So what's Nick supposed to do here? Meanwhile, the poachers are getting drunk. Yeah, the one guy's brother was just killed by a bear around here, so let's get wasted. That sounds like a good idea. Finally, one of the rangers finds them, but they beat him over the head with a log and take his gun and radio. Always a good idea to carry around evidence that could implicate you in the crime. So they take off, leaving the ranger to be chased around by the bear until he crawls into a cave, and just check out this editing. Now it's time for more repetitive stock footage, which is combined with this music that I guess is supposed to add intensity, but it just comes off as super low budget since there's really nothing intense about this footage. It's honestly taking a page straight out of the Book of Breen. Anyways, Nick and Sam are trying to find Bouchard somewhere in the woods, when suddenly their Jeep is blocked by a fallen tree.
What's this?
This must be him.
Yes, this must be him. He's French-Canadian, and this man looks like a walking Canadian stereotype with more axes and knives than you could shake a stick at. I mean, who else would have cut down that tree? So Bouchard uses his French-Canadian powers to squat down and lift the tree up and out of the way. And they tell him all about the bear and how there's all this distance between the footprints, which means it's a massive bear.
It's very bad. You got the devil bear.
Meanwhile, back at the concert construction, they're doing rehearsals. And this sucks. Seriously, this is just complete garbage that really doesn't do anything to advance the plot. It's just people rehearsing for a really long time, some guy trying to sell weed, and more rehearsing of some really crappy 80s music. And I know some of you are going to strongly disagree with me on that, but like, look, the 80s had some great music, but it also had a ton of shit music, just like every decade. And I'm sorry, I personally think this is shit.
So good, so pure, so kind, so impossible.
Honestly, this just goes on forever. Like 2 to 3 minutes of this. Rehearsing, more rehearsing, lifting lights, more rehearsing. Who cares? There's no reason why this needs to go on this long. The only reason is that they're like, wow, we don't have enough footage here to make an actual feature-length movie. Let's just stretch this as long as we possibly can. Who cares if the audience gets bored? Who cares if it's blatantly obvious and transparent what we're trying to do? Bouchard says he's right behind the bear now. He knows this by smelling the dirt or something, but he's obviously not that close because the next shot has him still looking and it appears to be the next day. So he sets some traps and, I don't know, boils some kind of potion to get the human smell off of the traps. Meanwhile, they're still rehearsing for the concert, and of course they try to intercut more stock footage, but this doesn't add up at all because these people performing obviously aren't the same people in this shot. The poachers are setting up traps too. And here's a guy running. Wow, this is also interesting, isn't it? Really keeps you on the edge of your seat. There's some storyline here where Nick's daughter gets hired to work on the concert, but this goes nowhere. And when I say nowhere, I mean nowhere. And here comes the crowd. And as a side note, these are some crappy friends. How do you not tell your buddy that he's got a giant hole in his pants? Okay, so now the concert is in full swing. I can't wait for something to actually happen. You know, large gathering of people with a bloodthirsty animal on the loose. I bet something is bound to happen, right? Bouchard starts talking some bullshit about the legend of the bears or something, and even Nick is getting pissed off with the movie at this point. God, this movie sucks so much. And this just keeps going on and on, by the way.
My grandfather took me, a bunch of other hunters. We killed maybe 25 grizzlies that night.
I don't care. Just do something. Like, my God, the first movie, it wasn't perfect, but at least stuff happened. And we're back again at the concert. Nothing has changed. It's just the same shit back and forth. People performing. Dude talks about bears. People singing. Dude talks about hunting bears. And then you have footage from the 80s that is cut with B-roll that is clearly not from the 80s. Did you not think this was noticeable? That's the majority of this stupid movie. That's basically the whole thing. Okay, so I guess the bear is coming. That's what this POV shot represents. And Sam goes for the gun, but then stops and runs away. Honestly, you were like 2 feet away from it. Don't you think it would have been a better idea to just quickly grab it and run away, rather than not grab it and run away and be chased by a bear without any form of defense? So this goes on for a while. You just have to assume she's being chased because there's no actual shot of the bear until she climbs up on these rocks and Bouchard shoots the bear. And once again, they try to intercut this footage as if it doesn't look completely out of place. So Sam is flipping out because she's like, it's the wrong bear. And Bouchard isn't even paying attention. He's just too busy stroking his ego. Like, don't worry, I'll find the devil bear. And just in case you forgot that a concert is going on with a lot of people watching, here's the concert again. And here are the people watching. Yep, the concert's been going on all day and all night. The movie must be building up to something. And I've made my case multiple times already, but just Look at this cut. This clearly isn't from the original production. This isn't even the same stage. And they throw it right in the middle of these two shots as if no one's going to notice. And this is even worse. This footage is just so weird. These people clearly aren't performing at this concert. This looks like it was shot on the patio outside of a bar. And they're singing right into the camera. I'm very uncomfortable. Bouchard is now in his full bear whisperer makeup and he finds all the poachers dead, but this is really weird. I mean, did the bear kill this guy and then carry him up into the tree? What's going on now? I guess the bear is getting close to the backstage area because suddenly fireworks start going off for some reason, and there's just all this chaos that comes out of nowhere. So here we go. I guess this is like the final showdown between the bear and Bouchard, but the bear doesn't really move at all. We just get the same shots of it as Bouchard moves around all over the place. Nick gets into a forklift and, oh no, watch out, Nick. There's a 10-foot wall of fur rolling your way. Bouchard throws a grappling hook onto the bear and I guess tries to climb up its back, but the bear casually tosses him away and he's impaled on a sharp pole and dies. Wow, what a master. I guess this sequence is supposed to represent the bear chasing after Nick as it gets caught in the stage and gets electrocuted. And wow, after everything, that's how they kill the bear. People start asking Miss Dragon if that's part of the show, and she's just like, yup. Yes, the animal crashing through the side of the stage, that was totally part of the National Park concert experience. And that's the end of the movie. So I think I've made my feelings about this movie pretty clear throughout this video, but honestly, this is just terrible. One of the worst sequels I've ever seen. It's a total mess. And the ending is just so anticlimactic and disappointing. After all this buildup of constantly showing the concert, showing the people, showing the concert, showing the people, and then nothing really happens with that, and it just ends with the bear basically running into an electric fence, and yeah, that's it. By the way, for those of you entering the contest, your code word for this video is Summit. I really have no idea how anyone looked at this footage after all these years and said, yeah, let's finish this up. But whatever, who cares, because it's definitely weird. And on that note, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time. And then you have footage from the 80s intercut with footage that's clearly not from the 80s. It's been 40 years, man. And yes, I'm getting pissed off. I really hate this movie. Bouchard throws a grappling hook onto the bear. Dude, come on, man. Okay. F you. Like, seriously, this movie.